Welcome back to the Vic Show. I know it's been a hot moment since, I've released an episode, mainly because I just couldn't be fucking bothered to. Anyways, we're back and here we go. Framare, Le Basics, 19, Anamelius, female, heterosexual, 5'10", 165 pounds, 75 kilos. One thing I'm going to note right away is the fact that you're willing to convert to metric for weight, but not height, which this is probably wrong, but I believe 5'10" is like, I want to say 1.6 meters? I know it's around that range. Another thing I've noted already is that at some parts, you deliberately put a space after the colon, which is the correct thing to do, and then others, namely occupation, you haven't. This angers me because it's different, and different is bad. Anyways, back to it. Nation of origin, the Imperium. None. She had a fresh start after leaving the Imperium. Not even looking at that because, first of all, put the reference photo at the bottom of the page. I swear to fucking God. It's not hard. It's not fucking rocket science, people. Okay. What? This right here is unnecessary because having it say, "Oh, this is her main weapon," implies that she has a predominant secondary. But no, there's just also throwing knives. But there's no secondary bit. So this is useless and pointless. Stop it. Armor, lightweight cloth armor, nothing heavy. So it's going to be very little armor because it's cloth. And, I know this is like a medieval fantasy server, but at the same time, swords are still, sharp, and cloth is very, easy to cut by sharp things, and, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Misc accessories. Wears a ring that goes on her left ear. Doesn't do anything in battle, but it is like a good luck charm to her. I'm not going to dissect for this. I mean, decent all around the board, decent in endurance and senses, but anything else is just mid. Yeah. You can see in complete darkness. Since this is clearly based on cats, that is. I'm no biology expert, but I know they don't see in complete darkness. Their eyes are just a lot more sensitive to light. So what we perceive as complete darkness would probably. Yeah, that sounds right. What we perceive as complete darkness would probably be like low light for them because of how their eyes perceive light and can hear extremely well. So this, just hear me out. If she's hearing things extremely well, wouldn't a loud noise be the equivalent to being, whacked upside the head with a heavy stick? Just thinking out loud here. Framare is able to climb pretty much anything except sheer cliffs, walls. Is extremely swift while climbing and running. She can run for long distances without tiring or slowing down. She is smaller in stature, cannot take much damage as a result, but her physical strength is greater than her size would suggest, being able to hit as hard as an extremely fit human male. That's not very hard, in terms of, actual, like, lethal damage. With her powerful stiletto demo, she's able to pierce plate armor with ease. I am calling cap. Because that, plate armor is, plates a solid metal. It's not like it's, chain or mesh where there's, less surface area of solid protection. But, moving on, I have things to do and I want to do them, so I'm just going to move along. Framare is able to enhance her own physical abilities with small bursts of magic. She can use mana for a burst of speed, energy, strength, or energy. She's also able to control small threads made of magical energy that are nearly impossible to see. They are nearly fairly strong for how thin they are. Yeah, and so is fucking spiders. Goddamn, spider silk. If I remember correctly, like, just judging by, if you took steel and cut it down to the thickness of, a strand of spider silk, the spider silk would be stronger just based on the tensile strength. Don't quote me on that. Again, I'm not a goddamn arachnologist or a construction engineer. These are just things I remember reading online. Using these strings, she's able to bring objects back to her by tying the strings to them, or set up and even restrain people while fighting with said string. So that begs the question: if I'm just humoring you here, wouldn't something that has moderate physical capabilities just be able to either almost like I don't even want to say this because it's so out of place, but almost hack these magical threads, and then great, you've just given your enemy another weapon, or they're just stronger than the threads. But again, just thinking, she is small in stature and isn't able to take too much damage. A few hits and she is down. So it's just about anyone. Like, people really over exaggerate just how tough the human body is. She also can't control her mana very well, and her bursts of energy are far and few between, having only a few of them per fight. She's not very good at fighting more tanky enemies because she only deals small, fast, successive hits that don't do too much damage on their own. So it's more so death by 1,000 paper cuts rather than, fucking wannabe giant character number 1,602,983 just straight pummels people straight into the ground. Okay, here we go. Here's the backstory. This is, my genuine first time reading it. She was born in the Imperium and was forced to grow up without a home most of her life. Her mother died when she was young, after she had gotten sick from her adventures a few years earlier, leaving only the ring she wears around her left ear. She grew up doing jobs for any money and learned not to show emotion to those she doesn't know well. She kept a few things. She loved clothes, food, her ring, and her friends. She left the Imperium after she turned 18 and started adventuring to try and follow in her mother's footsteps of adventuring. Fendir then started wandering around, found a few weapons she was very keen at using, namely black stiletto and throwing knives. She also learned how to use magic to increase her physical abilities and how to concentrate and use that magical as extra things. Or, the goddamn string she uses in combat. Core personality traits: stoic, but protects what she holds dear. That's uncorrelated, but okay. Personality: she's more stoic and monotone in conversation unless she likes someone, then she won't open up. She's kind-hearted by nature and loves to help out. She can't finish the best way to get close to her and makes her trust you slightly more. She aligns herself with whoever she feels like. She's very picky about her allies and friends. I don't think that's what they were asking, but okay. Goals and motivation: she wants to be able to help out people and just loves wandering and adventuring. She only really loves her mother. Likes food, friends, nature, cloth. Dislikes ice, the rain, cold metal, adhesive, anything that tastes bitter. Here's my honestly, there's just not a whole lot to review. There's just, it's, the story, it could do with, some small edits on pacing and just kind of, progression of, events. But other than that, it's just kind of, mid. Like, I'm not even saying that trying to be mean. It's mid. It's not good. It's not really good. It's not really bad. It's kind of, like average, like perfectly average almost. So, in my official rating, I give this character honestly just probably a 5 out of 10. Like, there's not a whole lot to say. It's just mid.